I appreciate your time. Can you talk for a minute? You saw this morning there was the news conference outside City Hall calling for your resignation. Any consideration for that?
Well, from what I understood, thank God I was really getting nervous there, Steve. They weren't asking at least for me to be put up in a firing squad, so that's a relief. Look, those 15 people that were there in front of City Hall is part of the same group that the plaintiffs have been with for the last years. They tried to recall me, they failed. They went against me in my last re-election a year and a half ago, and I won with 65% of the vote. So that's nothing new.
Any consideration for resigning at all?
Listen, I'm having to speak to you under a lot of legal constraints,
Sure.
which I'm not used to.
Are you under some sort of gag order with respect to saying
No,
whether you resign or not?
it's not a gag order. It's that there's a lot of things that are happening, and until I get my, in the next 58 days, my appeal filed, I and my attorneys are under a lot of jeopardy.
And reluctant to speak about the case is what you're saying.
Unfortunately,
Sure.
that's the case.
And Commissioner, any sense of shame that comes out of this with respect to this verdict and with respect to the jury's ruling?
Well, let me answer this to you directly. I have done nothing wrong. Nothing was shown. Not one person could say, nor could they show on any individual that I order anybody to do anything wrong. Sadly, the jury never got to hear from so many of the people that were residents of Little Havana that didn't get to sleep at nights and more. But this is why I have no doubts, as sure as you and I are talking here, that once this gets to a 3 professional judge panel in Atlanta, that this is going to be overturned. And this is why they're in a panic. They don't want me to be able to appeal this so that it stays like this, a very faulty verdict, and then they could go in the next lawsuit they have against the city for a lot of money.
Yeah.
You can add up George Floyd, $27 million verdict. You could add up O.J. Simpson's verdict with 2 additional wrongful death at $33 million. You could add up Arthur McDuffie, $1 million where there were 18 deaths. We have
So you're talking about civil settlements with respect to wrongful death cases, and how that compares to your award.
These were jury awards in wrongful death. And then you look at...
and then you find yours to be out of proportion, is what you're saying.
Look at Rodney King that got the crap beaten out of him.
Out of proportion.
And all these, the 4 most famous cases like this in America, came to about the same thing that they awarded in mine. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't beat up anybody.
With respect to that award, do you have any kind of plan to pay for that?
I would if I would have been a crooked elected official that had all kinds of money. But unfortunately for them, and they know it, I've been an honest elected official, that I don't have that kind of money, and they know that.
Might the city be on the hook for that money?
Absolutely not. The city is in no way liable for any of that judgment. And again, we will prevail in an appellate case. The only thing at issue in the appellate case is the following: does the Court of Appeals throws it right out, and that's the end of it? Or do they send it back for a mistrial so we try it again?
So your expectation is that this judgment will go away after an appeals court hears this?
Well, there's no doubt.
Okay.
There's no doubt that it will go away.
With respect to your legal fees so far, it's been widely reported $2 million about so far.
This is what I've been told, yes.
Sure. And then that was before the trial started, and so it's likely much higher than that. Would you agree?
Yes,
Yeah.
probably another million or more.
Right. And so taxpayers have footed the bill for that up to this point and will continue to do so. Appropriate, do you think?
Well, that's what the state laws of Florida say. Now, can you imagine who would run for public office if wealthy people could sue you for any decisions that they don't like? Uh, who is going to run for office then if you're going to have to pay out of your own pocket attorney's fees? The only people that would run for office would be people that don't have a, a penny in their pocket and are only looking then to fill their pockets with a lot of pennies from the city and be a lapdog for someone with a lot of money.
So with respect to the millions of dollars that are connected to your legal fees, there's no guilt or there's not any sense of regret on your part with respect to how those dollars could be spent maybe better or more effectively for this community versus paying your legal fees.
Obviously, they could be spent much better, but it's not my fault that they're the ones that filed a suit like this against me, against the city of Miami separately. But let me say this to you, that Joe Carollo has been a money-making machine for the city of Miami. 1999, years after I was mayor, from that point to today, you know how much money I brought the city of Miami in 2 areas alone that I went, if I hadn't been mayor at the time, we never would have gotten that money because these were my ideas. In one of them, I went to Tallahassee, got the legislature to approve it, the governor to okay it. As of today, and each year grows, $540 million. Now you show me any elected official in South Florida that has accomplished anywhere near that.
That's what you say you've generated over the years for the city, that dollar amount in your service.
Since I've been back, just in a couple of things. You see that wheel over there?
I see the Ferris wheel.
I'm the one that fought so that the city would get 10% and then a surcharge of about another 8%, which means we're getting every year $1 million+ for that going up. It's been $3 million that we've gotten. If I hadn't been here, never would have gotten that. Ultra was paying only under $700,000 when I came in. Now they're paying over $2 million. Just in those 2 items alone, and the Russian ship that never came, that I cut that contract and they paid, it's brought the city about $7.5 million, much more than what they paid for my attorney's fees. So even if, let's say, for the next 20 years, the city of Miami has to pay $2 million, $3 million in attorney's fees for me, it's a hell of a deal to have me as an elected official because I bring them millions more in new ideas to generate recurring revenue than anything they're going to have to pay.